Welcome into episode 6 of the Roll Jays podcast, brought to you by Pixel Fire Marketing. I'm Jimmy Allen. That's Alex Drake. We've got a great show lined up for you. Creighton assistant coach Ryan Miller is going to join us. We're going to talk to Creighton's newest yes man in Ty Davis, who said yes to the Jays and gave Greg McDermott his pledge. We're going to start covering recruiting on the Roll Jays podcast. All that is coming up later in the show. But Alex, before we get there, we haven't talked a lot about the changes going on in the Big East. Obviously, Ed Cooley leaves Providence and heads to Georgetown. You've got Rick Pitino now in the head seat at St. John's. For you, what have you made of the moves that have happened in this offseason, and who are you the most excited for of those coaches?
Well, I mean, to say that I'm excited for Rick Pitino is weird to say, right? Like, from a basketball perspective, from a basketball perspective, it'll be great if he's able to kind of revive St. John's and get them back to a level that they feel they deserve, they should play at. And, you know, kind of a nostalgic memory that I remember them playing at. That'll be good to see. But honestly, if I had to pick one or the other, I'm taking Ed Cooley at Georgetown. You know, I'm a big Ed Cooley fan personally. Georgetown is just, they have been nothing short of a dumpster fire since John Thompson III left.
Yeah.
And I'm excited to see what they're able to do. I remember, you know, their Roy Hibbert teams that took out North Carolina in the Final Four in the early to mid 2000s, and I'm really excited to see what Ed Cooley is able to do there, because it's not exactly the same style that Georgetown was known for when they were good.
The insane thing to think about is not the fact that Greg McDermott is the longest tenured coach in the Big East right now, which he is, but the fact is that the second most tenured coach is Dan Hurley at UConn, who got there in 2018. It feels like he just got there. Everybody else, with kind of the exception of Sean Miller, I guess, has been at their school for 2 years or less. And I guess that Mata too, but he had that stint at Butler as well. But it just really feels like this is the new Big East. Jay Wright's gone. You've got a new / old face in Rick Pitino at St. John's. You've got Ed Cooley, who is a staple in the Big East, but is now in a different residence. It kind of feels like it's the Jays and everybody else right now, right? Am I reading that? And I know UConn's coming off a national championship, but it just feels like, for longevity's sake, it kind of feels like Creighton's in the best place out of all these teams. Am I wrong in reading that?
You know, I think UConn is still right there. Obviously, yeah, they're coming off a national title, but they are still returning quite a bit. Dan Hurley's a big name.
4 years, though? That's the question. Are they going to head to the Big 12? There's so many questions surrounding just about every other program in this conference right now, really, other than the Blue Jays.
Yeah, I mean, I see where you're going with it, and I don't disagree. I don't see UConn bouncing out of the conference. I think they made that mistake once before, and they realized it. It's not like they're a powerhouse football program. They're not a powerhouse baseball program. This is where they belong, and they know they belong in a basketball-first conference. And I think Hurley is going to be able to keep them playing at that level. I don't know what's going to happen with the two biggest question marks in my mind on the board in St. John's and Georgetown. I don't even know what's going to happen with Providence trying to fill Ed Cooley's shoes. Yeah, I think Creighton's 1, but UConn is a close 1B, in my opinion.
And obviously Villanova is still Villanova. We saw what Kyle Neptune was able to do with that program when they were healthy. So I definitely have those teams ranked 1, 2, and 3 as far as confidence level to be a sustainable program. The one question mark that I think that didn't get answered last year that is still very much a question for a lot of Big East basketball fans is, what does Shaheen Holloway look like at Seton Hall in year 2? Because it definitely didn't look like a finished product at all last season, and the Pirates were very up and down all year long, and there was never any really sustained play from the point guard position, and there were so many question marks about what they were going to do with their bench that kind of feels like even in year 2, he's a little bit on the hot seat.
Yeah, year 2 hot seat.
That's not a fun place to be.
No. It's definitely warm. I'm interested to see what he's able to do. Admittedly, I haven't followed the recruiting a ton, but there was not a lot shown last year that led me to believe that they're going to make a substantial improvement this year.
And then the other team that we haven't brought up yet that was the tournament champions, the regular season champions, but just for whatever reason, it doesn't feel like the Shaka Smart at Marquette situation is long for this world. I mean, I know a lot of people feel like this could have been his dream job after he left Texas and he's in a good spot. It just reads like he doesn't want to be there. Like he's just waiting for the next moment. Do you think Shaka Smart stays long term at Marquette, or do you think that's maybe just circumstantial?
I don't know. It's a tough read. So Shaka Smart's another guy that I'm a big fan of. But I said when he made the move to Texas, I don't think a program like that is a place where he can be successful. I think Marquette's a lot closer to that, but Marquette is still a premier basketball school. I think he thrives in a situation as close to VCU as he can get, where you're surrounded by that East Coast talent, but you're able to go get guys with a chip on their shoulder that felt like they were under recruited and want to play that style that you want to play for 40 minutes, and being in a full court press all game, all the time. And he's kind of backed off of that style a little bit at Marquette, but he's still a strong defensive team. I know
And
when
his
you think
players
of
play for him, and that's
they
not
do, they absolutely do. It's just, man, I think deep down from the outside looking in, if it doesn't work out at Marquette, don't be surprised if he doesn't end up back at VCU, because I think that is ultimately the perfect fit for a guy like him.
See, and I'm not thinking about this from the standpoint of it's not working out. I think if he has a high level of success, if he's able to duplicate what he did last year in conference and in the tournament, and then have a run in March, there may be some bigger schools that come calling because it's not like it's been great at Texas since he left either. They've obviously
Yeah,
had their fair share of issues with Chris Beard getting fired. For me, though, looking through the teams in the Big East and maybe like a team maybe falling into the best spot, and for somebody that I have a ton of respect for, and I think is going to be very successful and helps he's taking over a good culture. I'm really excited to see what Kim English does at Providence, because I think he's coming into a situation where he has the ability to be successful. We've seen what he's been able to accomplish at George Mason, and it feels like the style that he implemented there fits in perfectly with what Ed Cooley is leaving behind.
yeah, he's essentially just walking into the same culture, same structure,
Agreed.
and can just carry on with it with a couple of tweaks here and there. And I'm excited for Kim English. Now, is he going to replicate everything that Ed Cooley did? That's going to be hard to say yes to. But I'm
It's kind of
excited.
hard to say yes that Ed Cooley would be able to sustain it to some degree, right?
Right, absolutely. What Ed Cooley was able to do there is nothing short of amazing.
Yeah. I think, with that being said, I still expect Ed Cooley to have a tremendous amount of success at Georgetown. It feels like it's so hard to say, well, if he did it at Providence, he can do it at Georgetown because it's the Big East and you should be able to duplicate it. I don't think it's the exact same. I don't think it's apples to apples by any stretch of the imagination. I think you have to recruit different at Georgetown. I think expectations are higher at Georgetown. We've never really seen what Ed Cooley looks like when he's got high level of expectations. Providence was one of those programs where it was like, yeah, they're a real fun story, and if they're a 9 seed in the NCAA tournament, it's good for them. And Ed Cooley's a great coach. At Georgetown, it feels like you need to be competing for championships on a regular basis, or the heat might get turned up on you.
Yeah, that you said it exactly. You have to be competing for championships, otherwise the heat's going to get turned up, and they just haven't done that. And is he going to be able to just immediately swing that in? I think he needs a solid 3 to 4 years to get it going.
And I think he gets it done sooner than that. I think that's a situation that Ed Cooley is going to thrive in. This is the Roll Jays podcast. We'll be right back with Creighton's newest commitment from Birmingham, Alabama, Mountain Brook High School. Ty Davis joins us next here on the Roll Jays podcast, brought to you by Pixel Fire Marketing.
Do you need a customized online marketing plan and creative campaigns to help scale your business and achieve goals in 2023? Pixel Fire Marketing can not only help you achieve those goals, but we will help you crush them this year. Pixel Fire Marketing lives and breathes digital marketing. Pixel Fire Marketing has experts in strategic content creation, social media marketing, and website development. Check out Pixel Fire Marketing today and attack marketing in 2023.
Welcome back into the Roll Jays podcast, brought to you by Pixel Fire Marketing. We have the newest Blue Jay with us here on the show today. Ty Davis joins us. Ty, you just recently said yes to Greg McDermott and the Blue Jays program. You're from Alabama. There's a lot of choices on the table. You're down at Corrigan, Creighton, and Northwestern. Why the Blue Jays and why now?
Just a lot of people say and and whenever I came on the visit to Omaha, I got to hang out with all the whole staff and a bunch of the players. Just they made me really feel at home whenever I was there, and I had a great time. Really they're seconds away from a Final Four this year, and I feel like just
Don't remind us.
Yeah, with the great fan base and just everyone behind Creighton basketball, it's just a great place to play basketball. And I just really felt at home whenever I was on the visit, and Coach McDermott and the entire staff are awesome, and I felt a really genuine bond with those guys as well.
What was kind of your favorite part of the visit? Did you guys go try out some restaurants? Anything that really stuck out?
Yeah, we went to, I think, 801 Chop House while we were out there. We went there with a bunch of the guys and stuff, and then we went and played like pickup and shot around after that. I did with the players, and so that was really my favorite part, just being able to hang out and make relationships with some of the players.
Did you have an official player host while you were here, and who was that?
It was really a couple of them. Like 5 of the guys really were around. There wasn't like a one specific guy though.
Anybody in particular you hit it off with the most?
I had a good time with Mason and Baylor and Trey, Fred, all the guys really, Brock and J-Law. They were all awesome.
A couple of those guys you mentioned won't be here when you eventually get on campus. Obviously, Baylor will be gone. Graduation. It's a good chance Trey's gone as well. How much was the possibility of being able to possibly come in and contribute earlier a factor to your decision?
Yeah, it factored in a lot. Just coming into a really, really good program and being able to have an opportunity to play early as well. That really did factor into my decision. Knowing that I can come in and contribute early is a big deal to me. And obviously I want to come in and not be a freshman. Obviously I'm going to be a freshman, but, not make freshman mistakes, not try to come in and be a sophomore or a junior, skill-wise and more heady to where I'm already ready to the faster pace of the game and being able to come in and really contribute early.
So one of the keys to coming in and contributing early is obviously a defined role. What kind of, at being a 6'5" combo guard, that gives you a few different options. What's kind of a role that the staff kind of envisioned for you?
Yeah, so Coach Mack and the rest of the staff, obviously being 6'5", I can guard multiple positions on defense, and I can play the 1 and 2 as well on offense. Because really the game now is just 4 guards around a 5 or a big man. So they said they could see me playing 1, they could see me playing the 2. Really just that combo guard role is what they could see me playing the most. But they said that they really like how versatile I can be on defense. 6'5", I can guard the point, I can guard the 2, I can guard the 3, and then sometimes whenever there's small lineups, and I can guard the 4 as well. So they like that, and that's kind of the role that they talked about me playing.
You obviously never want to pigeonhole yourself into one position, but if you had to put a definitive answer on it, where do you feel the most comfortable playing?
Right now I would say the 1, but I've always been like in 9th grade, I was a 2 for our high school team. I was strictly a 2 shooter. So I was a 3 and D guy. And so I am comfortable with that position as well. But, last year I played a lot more 1. And then this year I am really the 1 for my AAU and high school team as well. But I like playing that combo role. Either of the positions I'm very comfortable at.
What is you have a highlight play, right? Like your dream highlight play. Is it going in and cramming on somebody, or is it sticking a big 3 from a corner? What is kind of like your dream big play?
I would say probably two different plays. Now that I'm starting to get stronger and more athletic, I can go in and dunk on some guys. But I would say my favorite probably would just be like shooting like a deep NBA three, from out where like a logo three type deal where you really hit it and the crowd goes crazy and everything.
Before you get to Omaha, you obviously have one more year of high school left.
Yeah.
One more year at Mountain Brock High School. Have you set goals for this season in your senior year? And if so, what are they?
Like individual or team or
We'll take either one.
I would say myself, I really need to get in the weight room and put on some more weight and get stronger. That's been like the biggest individual goal for that. Work on my mid-range game a little bit as well, just because, going in, the paint, there's going to be 6'11", 7-footers in there where you're not be able to finish at the rim. And then really an individual like goal, like an accolade goal, probably try to be Mr. Basketball Alabama or Gatorade Player of the Year this year. Try to get one or hopefully both of those. And really just for the team, we lost in the state championship this year. Try to avenge that loss, and hopefully we can get back there and win another state championship, or just max out as a team. Whether that's making the Final Four, making the state championship, making the Elite Eight, whatever it is, just max out as a team and a player. Because I don't usually like to think about those huge goals like that, but I would say it's always in the back of my mind.
Yeah. So at Creighton, obviously a huge draw is the style of play, and we've been talking to the coaches throughout this, and they even want to play faster. So what does that do for you?
Yeah. So I mean, my AAU and high school team, that's what our name of our team is. We just play fast. That's all we do. So that really fits my play style. I love teams that like to play fast, play a lot of ball screens, and shoot a lot of threes. I feel like that really fits my play style, and I know that's what Creighton is. So I love that, and I think I would be able to just come in and be able to help the team play faster. Like the coach just said, they want to play even faster. So I like that. I've been used to playing fast, so that just I feel like that kind of fits my play style.
Ty Davis, Creighton's newest commitment, joins us here on the Roll Jays podcast. You brought up the state championship. You guys saw Buckhorn twice last year, lost both games. Do you know if they're on the schedule this upcoming season?
We I don't think they are, but we are in a tournament that they're in where we played. So they weren't on our schedule last year, but we ended up playing them twice. We played them in that Christmas tournament up in Huntsville. We should have had the game. We were up 3. They hit a 3 to go to overtime, and we lost it in overtime. And then the state championship game obviously took down to the wire, and then they kind of just pulled away at the very end. But I'm not sure if they're on the schedule, but I know we play in a couple tournaments that they're in, so we could possibly get them in that.
Any part of you want that to happen?
Oh, of course. You always want to avenge that loss. They've got some really big time players there. Caleb Holt, the number 3 player in the nation for 2026. He's a really good player, and they got a bunch of guys around him that are really good as well. But I would love to see him, early in the year. But if not, hopefully we can see him again, deep postseason.
As far as getting to Omaha, what is the plan and timeline for when you plan on being on campus?
I'm pretty sure it's early June or, halfway through June next year, whenever the early freshmen are coming in. So whenever that is, I'm not sure the specific date yet.
You mentioned, getting stronger in the weight room this season. What is something that you want to work from a skill set development style in your game to get you ready for Creighton?
Yeah, like I kind of said, I mentioned a little bit, it was my mid-range game. I really like to shoot deep, and I like to shoot, threes, and I like to get to the cup and finish as well. I've got a pretty good floater game, but I feel like, Trey Alexander's mid-range game is just unbelievable. Just try to get it to where I'm able to come off screens, and if the big man's sagging back, be able to pull up or shoot a floater over him, so where, I'm really comfortable doing that, and I don't have to really work on that when I get there.
You're the lone member of the 2024 class right now. Any internal pressure to do peer recruiting and maybe get a couple guys to come along with you?
Yeah. I don't have any specific guys yet, but Coach Mack said as the process keeps going along, he's going to start sending me some names, and we'll get that. We'll hopefully get some big time guys in here as well.
Has he given you any idea on a number standpoint about how many guys that he'd like to have in this class?
Yeah, I think he's going to go 1 or 2 more.
Okay.
Yep.
And how do you feel about that?
I feel great about that. It doesn't really matter to me, but just he thinks with Trey, Baylor, and maybe it depends on I think it depends on really what they lose.
Sure.
But 1 or 2 more, and then obviously a transfer. So just trying to stay old, but getting the right young guys in at the same time. I think that's a great idea.
That's Birmingham, Alabama, Mountain Brook High School's Ty Davis and the newest Blue Jay. Ty, congratulations on your commitment. Good luck when you get to Omaha, and good luck in your senior season.
I appreciate it.
We'll catch up with you down the road. This is the Roll Jays podcast brought to you by Pixel Fire Marketing. We're wrapping things up with Creighton assistant coach Ryan Miller. We come back.
Do you need a customized online marketing plan and creative campaigns to help scale your business and achieve goals in 2023? Pixel Fire Marketing can not only help you achieve those goals, but we will help you crush them this year. Pixel Fire Marketing lives and breathes digital marketing. Pixel Fire Marketing has experts in strategic content creation, social media marketing, and website development. Check out Pixel Fire Marketing today and attack marketing in 2023.
Welcome back into episode 6 of the Roll Jays podcast. Jimmy Allen, Alex Drake are now joined by assistant coach Ryan Miller. Coach, good afternoon. How's your summer going?
Oh, it's busy summer, but it's always good to come on your show.
This segment will drop on the actual 4th of July. Do you guys have any big 4th of July plans coming up?
Actually, I've been traveling so much with recruiting and whatnot that just going to relax this 4th of July.
We just talked to Ty Davis a second ago. Speaking of recruiting, obviously the newest Blue Jay that you guys just added to this class. He said he was talking about peer recruiting and maybe going after some guys, and Mac was going to talk to him about it. But he also mentioned that there may only be about 2 to 3 guys in this recruiting class. Is that still the plan right now?
I mean, in this day and age with college basketball and college basketball recruiting, rosters are volatile. We have to find a healthy mix of young players and transfers, a mix that works for us. And, so recruiting is always moving, changing, and evolving. And what it is today might not necessarily be tomorrow. So our biggest thing is just making sure we get the right kids in our program, identify those type of kids, identify those relationships that are sustainable long term.
How big of an adjustment has the transfer portal and what that's evolved into been for you personally?
It's always been a business of relationships, trusting relationships, developing relationships with people in the business. And that's where we kind of excel at, the trusting part of relationships. So those things have been key for us, whether it's, something changes our roster where we can pivot fastly, pivot quickly, and go find a player or a student athlete that's good enough to play here for us at Creighton and fits our DNA and what we do here.
Coach, you said you've been on the road a lot, recruiting all summer. What's your favorite part about the recruiting process and the travel involved with that?
Oh, the travel, not so much, but the relationships, the people you meet along the way, along this journey, the basketball people, the like-minded people, the parents, the families of kids, and the kids themselves. Just meeting different people from different walks of life, not only here in the United States, but from all over the world. We have an international mix on this year's team, and we plan on keeping an international mix for a long time. Me and Coach Derek Kellogg and myself are going to the FIBA Under-18 European Championships here in the end of July. So, it's just keep maintaining those relationships and having those relationships not only, like I said, locally, nationally, but also internationally.
We caught up with Jalen Courtney Williams last week while he was actually down in Dallas. You guys have been to Maui. You're going to the Bahamas. When you travel a lot for recruiting, do you have a favorite destination you've been to, whether it be for a game or maybe be out on the road?
I mean, I like going to any destination. We were just in Orlando for a couple of days. For the NBA Top 100, got back last night, had practice, but Orlando, I like being there. I spent 5 years, or not quite 5 years, about 3 years there, working with my brother Mike in Orlando. So, going places where there's memories, where there's places that I know where to go eat, where to go socialize. Those type of places are kind of the best places for me to go to.
What's your go-to?
So that's my next question. Where's the favorite spot?
Yeah.
There's many of them. There's too many to kind of like to say. I mean, Coach Kellogg and I would eat at Bahama Breeze in Orlando. So that was a good spot to go to, So there's many. There's too many to count on one hand, just because of the amount of traveling we do. But they're all great locations, all great spots. I kind of like the warm weather instead of the cold weather. So the warmer the weather, the better.
I spent a year in Daytona Beach, and I'll tell you, if you're ever down in Orlando and you just get a little bit north of there, there's a place called Piranha's Bar and Grill. This isn't going to be a very popular opinion in Omaha, but it's one of the best hamburgers you'll ever have. Try to get the chance, stop by and give it a chance.
You're gonna have to.
You mentioned your brother. Obviously, there's a family feel on the team as well with your nephew Mason being on this team as well. How much has he personally grown as a player, and how much has your guys' relationship, whether it be professionally or from uncle to nephew, changed since he started playing for Creighton?
No, it's been a great opportunity. Number one, just to see his development. From the time he's gotten here to the way he is, the person and the player he is today is vastly different. He's growing up, maturing, both physically, both mentally. So it's fun to be a part of that process. It's fun to be part of a process that where you're coaching and spending time with a family member, my nephew, all the time. So it's one of the reasons I came here. Not only work for Coach Mack and work at Creighton, but also be a part of that family connection that we have here.
Coach, we know you're heading out to the Bahamas for a preseason tournament. When's that travel date?
That's August 3rd through the 8th. Should be a good time for us to get our team chemistry, get our team bonding. We have obviously a few new players, a few new transfers, some younger players that are in the program. It'll give us a good opportunity to spend time with those kids, them spending some time together, both on the court and off the court and social settings, to create that team chemistry and the team bond that we'll need to have throughout the season next year and the Big East season next year also.
Is the rule still every 4 years you guys get to take these trips?
Mm-hmm. That's correct. The NCAA allows you to take a foreign or international trip every 4 years. A while back, pre-COVID, they went to Australia before I was here, and now we're going to Bahamas this year. So that's really good. It's a really good opportunity for our guys. It's really a good opportunity for Fred King to get back to the Bahamas and play there where he's from. So we're excited about that opportunity to spend the time with our kids there in both the social setting and a basketball setting, because we need some time off the court really to build those fabrics of bonds that happen that we'll need to fall back on as we go through the journey of a basketball season. When the adversity hits, you're only as good as those connections that we have with each other. And so it'll be a good time for us to really connect with each other. And, we'll lean back on those days when we get into some adversity throughout the year.
Tell Marcus Blossom to pick up the phone and call the Big East and try to move these tournaments from August to like mid-November, when it's an actual benefit to go to a warm destination.
No question.
Month of the year.
No question.
We obviously are still months away from the start of the season. At what point for you personally does it change from the off season to getting ready in actual preparation for the beginning of the season?
Oh, once we got these guys back here for the summer, we actually started the prep for the next season. I mean, maybe it's not as schematically serious or we're not preparing for a game tomorrow, but we are putting in foundational items every single day that hopefully carries us throughout the season. So that's the process already started. Whether it's fundamental or foundational offensive or defensive items, we're installing that every day we can. We get 4 hours on the court in the summertime, 4 hours in strength and conditioning. So a lot of development and growth can happen during those 8 hours a week. We get 10 extra practices with the international travel day. So we'll be doing a lot this summer just to lay some of the groundwork that we'll need later in the year.
Coach, how big is this international travel? We obviously have talked about, building the bonding, but how big is it going to be to figure out where you guys are depth-wise, and hopefully not having to have Kalkbrenner go 34 minutes a night this year?
Yeah, I mean, hopefully Fred King and some other guys can help give him a little bit of break sometime during the course of the year, so we don't have to lean on Kalkbrenner as heavy. But it's just going to be a good opportunity for our guys to showcase where they're at, where we're at, where our young guys are at, where our transfers coming in the program, how are they adjusting to different styles of play, different defensive and offensive philosophies. So it's a good opportunity for all of us, not only coaches but players, to understand and gauge where we're at.
We heard last season about the closed door scrimmage with Iowa State and obviously the exhibition with Drury. Is there anything already on the books for something like that this year? Or is that something we figure out later down the road?
I'm not for sure. I think we have something already in the books for Iowa State to do another closed door scrimmage. I think they're probably coming here. I don't know who our exhibition opponent is off the top of my head, but there will be an exhibition opponent similar to Drury in front of a live, well-attended crowd. So
What
we'll
benefit?
get those games too to help get us ready for the non-conference schedule.
What's the benefit of a closed door scrimmage versus a situation where you're playing in front of a live crowd, in your opinion?
Well, number one, quality of opponent. In the closed door scrimmage, you can play a peer, Iowa State, Big 12 opponent, who's had great success for the last few years. So, and they can be coordinated. You don't have to play a full game. You can, break the game up in 4-minute sections. You can play a zone segment versus man segment. You can go based on a bounce game, special teams game. You can kind of mix and match these things you want to work on during that time. Most times you do play one 40-minute game with refs because you want to get that test run in game settings where you come into situations that are hard to come by in practices and against new opponents that are not necessarily their teammates. So all those things come into factor why you do a closed door scrimmage, quality opponent. You can kind of mix and match how you want that day to look like for yourself.
That's great. Assistant Coach Ryan Miller. Coach, thank you very much for your time today. Try to relax on the 4th of July and enjoy the holiday, buddy. Thank you very much.
Thanks for having me on, guys. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Coach.